Head of Department of Civil Engineering Technology, Associate Professor Dr. Nur Suhaila binti Muhammad Sunnah, Head of Program Civil Engineering Technology for Environment, Dr. Nuramida binti Hamidun, Distinguished Guest Speaker, Dr. Taram Satiraksa bin Wan Abdullah, my fellow colleagues, industrial partners, and not forgetting to all the students from UTHM and other institutions and to other participants. Welcome to the Environment and Water Week Lecture Series 2.0. Okay. So Alhamdulillah, now we are on our second slot of the 3 days program organized by the Department of Civil Engineering Technology for Environment, FTK. Okay, this event is a knowledge sharing lecture series from various experts that include both the academia and various industries. Okay, it is hoped that at the end of the program, the participants will be able to enhance their knowledge on the subject matter. Okay. One moment, I'm letting them to enter. All right. Okay, so before I start the program, I would like to remind all the audience to turn off their microphone and please fill in the attendance and feedback form that will be given at the chat box later on. Okay, so should you have any inquiries, you can either write it at the chat box and the speaker will address during the Q&A session, or you can ask the speaker directly during the Q&A session later on. Okay, so for our second slot, the guest speaker is an industrial expert from Vestigo Petroleum Sendian Berhad. Okay, Dr. Taram Satiraksa bin Wan Abdullah. Okay, so Dr. Taram has nearly 20 years of working experience in various industries. He started his career as a research officer at the Malaysia Institute for Microelectronic Systems, (MIMOS), after graduated from the University of Bradford, UK, with Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering in 1995. Okay, Dr. Taram is considered as one of the pioneers in safety and health in Malaysia. He is also a certified safety and health officer for DOSH, and during his 8 years with BP, he has been exposed and extensively developed himself as a professional safety engineer and climbed the corporate ladder up until safety superintendent before he left for Sarawak Shell Berhad in April 2008. After 3 years with Shell, he decided to return to Peninsular Malaysia to work with Telsman Malaysia Limited in 2010 as HSE System and Assurance Team Lead. Starting in May 2014, he is the Senior Manager to lead the HSE Department at Vestigo Petroleum Sendian Berhad. All right, so today, Dr. Taram will give a talk on how industrial safety influences sustainability from the safety perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Satiraksa. Okay, so Assalamualaikum Dr. Taram. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, thank you for the long introduction.
All right,
okay. Thank you, Doctor.
All right.
Dr. Nambia, and all that invited here for this afternoon. I thanks, first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's quite rare for me to be participate in a different field or disciplinarily, because I'm normally give talks or any lecture related to chemical engineering, but now in civil engineering. So anyway, doesn't matter which disciplinary we are. I think at the end of the day, the knowledge, as mentioned by Dr. Linda just now, the knowledge that we want is to enhance our knowledge so that it benefit us in the future. Especially here, I see a lot of a young engineer here coming into the industry and try to expose yourself to the industry and how we can help industry to be better and safer. So as mentioned just now, my background is chemical engineering. So I'm doing my PhD, my engineering doctorate with UTHM in behavior based. So how the system influence behavior. So today, my goal is to share with you, not to teach you, to share with you my experience and how this industrial safety link or relate to sustainability, because based on experience, based on incident and so on. For the past 25 years, I learned and I see a lot. So maybe some of this information I can share and valuable to you lah, of course. Okay. So can we start or how? I'm not sure.
Yes, doctor, you may start. It's okay. We
Yeah,
give
I
the floor to you.
need Dr. Nura help to start the
Fatida?
presentation.
All
Okay.
right.
Before I begin on the subject of topic, I just give I call it health moment. Our health, kesihatan. So recently in July, if you heard or you read about there's two cases which is related to the student and so on. Student from one of the university, local university, was passed away because of stress, too stress due to workload and so on, due to PDPR, due to online, whatever it is reason. So here, let me remind them, because we are still online. I believe UTHM still also online class, right? So we need to take care of ourselves. We need to communicate. Now, Alhamdulillah, because we the restriction had been open, so we can move around, see people and so on. Previously, it's quite strict, and we are confined in our own environment, which is the house, the room. Doesn't matter where you are, but then that's where you have to be balanced in some of that. So today I try to share with you taking care of your health before we go further. This is sustainability also. It's related to us, which is a human being. If you are whoever you are, I mean, if your health is not there, then I mean you cannot deliver as per the expectation. Okay. So what I want to share to take care of health from burnout. I think the burnout, later on I explain what is burnout. Okay, in the safety perspective and not health perspective, how we can prevent that. The safety is about prevention. Okay, so move to the next one, please, doctor. Okay, based on research which is conducted by one of the consultant to Malaysia, they make a research to about 32,000 employee in around the world, so including Malaysia. So about 2,300 of it, which is Malaysia, reported some sort of the 55% of Malaysia responded still prefer virtual working. But somehow the bad thing is they mentioned about only 28 cannot disconnect. You know, you start wake up, and from the time you wake up until the end of the day, that's where now your working periods. You know, your meeting and so on and so on. So you hardly to disconnect from the online stuff. That's the bad part of it. So somehow we need to create some balance, struct the balance between that to prevent burnout. So how to do that, prevent balance? I think that we need some mechanism. I think as a student, as a lecturer, as a human being, doesn't matter you are as a parent, you know, while you teaching, while you are learning, your brother, your sister nearby disturb you, they create stress. And sometimes you hardly to see the sun, just stay in the house. So to prevent that, I think there's have to be balance in terms of that, in terms of sustained motivation. So you need the delivery high performance that give technology easier to work at time. But at the same time, that's the disadvantage of it. You hardly to disconnect. I believe some of you know it. I mean, and I feel the same, because hardly to disconnect, because my working hour when I start after subuh prayer, then I start to look into the computer, see email, watch, reading email and so on until before I sleep. So it become a routine for the past 1.5 years. You know, that's become us. Maybe you also the same. I believe that. Okay, so that's how we are connect to the system, which is influence our behavior now. how the system, how the information, how the IT technology that influence our behavior now. Okay, next. So based on this, I'm zooming into uh, based on the company that I work with. So I do a survey, basic survey, try to understand what is the problem. Okay, so based on that, about 40%, 41% of the respondent mentioned that too much to deal with. You just imagine the young mother working or studying. You influenced by the time you need to cook, your kids PDPR, those other things that you need to deal with. Previously, once you without the online class or virtually, you what do you call it? You send the kid to the school, then you go to work. One part of the dealing with is already taking care of somebody or some other place. So that's how it works. So based on this, there is 31% related to fatigues and sleeping problem and so on. And furthermore, because the one that we can control, we have a problem in terms of because working at home, the office station, the seat, the sitting, the arrangement between screen and is you sometimes you sit on the sofa to do the work on the eat apa ni meja makan the table dinner table and the couch sometimes it's create problem to your body. At the end of the day, you have problem with the backache, neck ache, and so on. So that's a survey come out telling us that we have a problem. Okay, I believe it's the same for university or for the student. I can see some of you show where you are in the room, in a table, and so on. So that creates some health effect, adverse effect to your health. This is something that we need to improve so that we can work properly. Okay, and at the same time, I have opportunity as a PIBG, parent teachers association members. So I do some survey with this. The student itself come out with the outcome telling that 67% of them have a burnout symptom. Okay, what is burnout? Headache, you cannot sleep well, eating improper. I think that's some concern because now your kitchen is near to you. So when you're hungry, you just go to kitchen and take something. So you gain weight, so those are the things that influence. And feeling some of you are bachelor or stay alone at home, you disconnect from society, from your parent for years, for months, you don't see them. So those are the things that create burnout. So next slide, please. So that's how we can. Next slide, doctor. Thanks. So in the sense that we need to make sure that this is how we control. Let me share you in term perspective of how you can control it. This is a simple example that you can use. I call it ABC model behavior. What activator that contribute to your stress? Sometimes stress is good, okay. Sometimes when you too much, then become burnout. So that's how this bow tie diagram showing you how the thing distract you, the workload that burden you, lack of socializing, and some more. Okay, that creates stress, and bila stress is too much, then you will have burnout. Burnout ni sampai bunuh diri. You hear just now, because I have personal experience with my daughter. My daughter is also final year student, chemical engineering, one of the university in Malaysia. So she come and talk to me. She said, I have some concern. I have the lecturer give. I didn't blame lecturer. Okay, I'm just giving some experience. Telling me that she have a lot of assignment. Try to finish it. Try to complete it. And after class, got assignment, got test and more, and so many things coming in. So she feel that too much. It become. I think when he come to tell me that, I can feel that she at the stage already start to burn out, and 1 month before the incident, for the July incident of UTHM student, I mean, so that happened. She tell me 1 month earlier. So after that, I believe the university has start to do something internal process, and after that, I can see she's improved in terms of because you know why, she stay in the room for the whole day just to do the work and assignment, and don't go outside to see the world, to talk to us, to talk to the sister and so on. So become confined to themselves. Then the problems start to come in, but then the one that release out is not there. Okay, so that's the concern there. Next. So in a short manner, okay, this is what you can do as a safety perspective. So you need to the demand of work you need to control, meaning that prioritize your work, okay, control of workload that coming to you to make sure that, example, you have a lot of assignment, prioritize it. Don't come to the last minute, then you start to do that, then you create a problem to yourself. So try to plan yourself. If you have assignment, try to plan yourself to make sure that it is you make it accordingly. Understand your role as a student, as a lecturer, as an individual, doesn't matter what it is, so that you can deliver your task as a father, as your mother, right? So those are the things. Relationship with others, try to talk to someone, make sure that you have a good relationship with your parents, make a call regularly to your parent or your mother, your sister, your lecturer, in case you have a problem about the subject. Talk to them, understand to them. So I believe that lecturer also have to be a good listener lah, try to understand the problem. Kalau dia mengada-gada tu, I think you know better lah kan, how to do that lah, how to deal with that. And support from employer, like you lecturer, like the student with the university and so on. Okay, since we are in organization like us dealing with offshore activity, the directive from the Ministry of Health keep changing every day. Nak pergi offshore macam-macam requirement, nak kena quarantine and so on and so on and so on. So that directive is become a burden. You just imagine, you want to go to offshore to work 28 days offshore, you have to quarantine another 14 days. Balik from offshore, you have to quarantine another 14 days. So masa tu is just so much stress. Betul, balik rumah sekejap aja, dah ada nak pergi offshore balik. So those kinds of environment that create. So now alhamdulillah dia dah relax sikit. So dengan green bubble dan sebagainya, alhamdulillah is much more appropriate lah for us to manage the risk. So with that, I think on this part, I end up with the next one is, next slide, please. So the solution is not simple lah. I think the key point here, if you have that kind, ada symptom tu, talk to someone. Okay, talk to your friend, your mother, your parent, your brother. Talk to someone. Don't keep to yourself. Release it. So that help you to maintain it. Then other than that, I mean, healthy lifestyle. Okay, virtual meet sometime. I make a Tarikh online with my team, with my friend. So just to make sure that we have communication, see each other face. How are you? Just ask about that. Okay. Avoid. I think we have a lot of fake news coming in. So it sometimes add up the stress to us when you hear that. So try to avoid those things, hear news, bad news. Okay, just to make sure that. And if you have really don't know what to do, that after all this, try to do. Okay, next slides. Get some help. Okay, next slide. We will have some place for you to get help lah. Banyak ni in Malaysia, macam-macam. You can help, get some help. Okay. So I think that's all. I hope it helped us just to make sure this is sustainability about our health, to make sure we are healthy before we come to work. Okay, and my idea here is just to make sure that how safety, which is mainly about prevention, that impact to your health, improve that. Okay. Now. Is that question? Can ask question or you can letter? Doctor?
Maybe we can proceed first and
Okay,
we'll
okay,
have the Q&A later.
Okay. So we start with our topic today lah. Okay. Our topic today is simple je. Saya tak nak cerita panjang lah. I mean, I'm just try to help us share with you my experience how industrial safety influence sustainability as a safety perspective juga lah. Meaning that I don't look into environment perspective, tapi it relate a lot in the economic perspective. But this is safety perspective. That's my my bread and butter lah in terms of career wise. Okay, if you look into this picture, what you see, the right side of the diagram slide is about the bird, the effect of it. Okay, consequences of it. On the left side is an oil spill. This is oil spill happened in 2010, where when Macondo, is a Gulf of Mexico. I think you heard the news. Kalau you tak pernah dengar, you can open Google it and read about the Macondo incident. I mean, there is a, if you watch a movie, what movie is that? Alah, lupa punya title, tiba-tiba lupa. Anyway, I will tell you later when I remember that. The title of the movie, I mean, the story is about the oil spill at the rig, where the oil coming out and then spill all over the Gulf of Mexico. And at that time, I think until today, the issue doesn't complete. BP, you know, have spent nearly 60 billion compensation, bayar tu, bayar ni, bayar, I mean, so many things they have to pay. 60 billion. Kalau Malaysia, uish, itu banyak tu kan, 60 billion US dollar pula tu. Just imagine how much is it, the impact of it. Of course, that in terms of monetary, but in terms of long-term impact, in terms of sustainability, you can see, I think it's still now some of the stain is still there around in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so next page. So my content, I was given for 2 hours kan. So most likely I would take about 1.5 hours or on maybe. Then we can have a discussion if there is. And is it allowed for us to have during the process ada activity or some sort of that? Is it allowed?
Yeah, sure. Boleh, tak ada masalah. Not a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
And I mean, I will share about objective a little bit, introduction, what the difference between industrial safety, sustainability, so that we can blend in it, make it some of information may be usable to you lah. Okay, relationship between that. Okay, element that drive proactivity, so that kenapa important proactivity ni dalam organization. Doesn't matter when you work around in the industry later on, because you need that. When you have a prevention kind of mindset, you are proactive to prevent, to make sure incident doesn't happen. Okay, if you tengok the gambar on the right side tu, it's all about incident happen in Malaysia lah, where landslide due to human activity caused to that, where the construction building tengah-tengah bina tiba-tiba runtuh. So that's element of safety is there to make sure that we don't create that lah. When you as a civil engineer, so that's where your capacity is to help the industry to make it safer, to make it better environment. Okay, you tengok the middle photo is about landslide to the certain area of housing. How bad it is, how poor when the project was managed and result to that. Okay, so that's just how important what you do that impact the future. Okay, construction tengah bina bridge tiba-tiba jatuh, so that's cause fatality dan sebagainya lah. And lastly, tengok tu lah jalan yang dibina, the road that you build because of the drainage system is not good and causing it to collapse and jalan terputus. This is a lot. Now the monsoon season some more, you can see that it is a time you can see a lot of road cut off, you know, the flood coming in because of no proper drainage system. The drainage system is clogged atau tersumbat because of our activities. Okay, and of course our contribution at the end of the day, contribution to sustainability as a human being lah. Doesn't matter you guys civil engineer ke, chemical engineer ke, electrical engineer ke, doesn't matter. Or as a human being lah, what we can do, simple thing yang kita can do so that we can have a better future for our kids, our next generation. And the way forward, and of course the challenge at the end of the day, just to give you some thought minds that you can carry back as a student. One day maybe you can do that to improve the to make it better society for us in Malaysia. Exactly. Okay, next. Okay, let's start with this. I just for some of you, this is one of the surah Ar-Ram ayat 41 just mentioned. Telah timbul berbagai kerosakan dan bala bencana di darat dan di laut dengan sebab apa yang telah kamu lakukan di tangan manusia. I think is mentioned in the Quran. Whatever happening to us, if you see just now the picture at the top there, oil spill at the bottom there, the bird covered with oil, it's all from us, our human, the negligence of us that result to that. So we have to take care of that, because nobody else. This is our earth, nobody else. So we need to, although you said, okay, one person doesn't impact the whole, but you can start with yourself at home. I mean, later on I will share some of the things that simple thing you can do to help us. So once you become an engineer, this is what you can do to help society. Okay, next. So objective is simple. I'm not teaching you. I know you are the expert here. I'm just sharing my background, my expertise, my capacity, relationship on how industrial safety influence sustainability, and learning from the industrial incident, those incidents that especially related to oil and gas, that I can share with you how you can do that, how it changed the world, that stricter requirement in terms of safety and so on, and how industrial safety prevent accident. I think the goal here is, when you have a good safety system in your organization, doesn't matter when you work as an engineer or as a student, you will have a approach of, remember, safety is about prevention, to stop a mishap from happening. So that's the goal idea of it, and propose way forward on the future for as an engineer lah. Okay, so hopefully you grad and become engineer, so you benefit others. Okay, all right, next, move on. Okay, next. So just introducing about the industrial safety. What is industrial safety is all about? Kadang-kadang itu tak jive lah. I mean, I just give you some flavor lah. This is nak cari this apa ni definition, Google je, jumpa je. Banyak. Anyway, it's about a safety management practice that apply to industrial sector. Management practice, safety management practice. So kalau dalam in term of normal term in organization, they call it HSC, Health Safety Environment Management System. So that's where they call it safety management practice that apply to industrial sector. The idea of this practice is to protect industrial workers, the human, okay, machinery, the facility, the structure, okay, doesn't matter whatever structure that you build, offshore structure or building structure or road, it doesn't matter. And of course, the impact to the environment and the environment. So industrial safety is about that, about having the right management system for you to manage that, so that at the end of the day, you can prevent accident from happen. So that's the core about safety lah. Whatever, ramai. I got friends lots. Background civil engineer become a safety engineer, become so a lot, because if you have a strong fundamental, you boleh pergi mana-mana saja. Okay, so that's basically. Tapi ramai lah. From dia ambil safety officer and so on, and become a safety officer, because you need to learn. Of course, part of the development yourself, you have to learn to understand why you are important, what else you can contribute to the nation, what else you contribute to the organization, to the society, and so on. Okay, next. Dalam chat tu ada soalan ke doktor? Sorry, just to ask.
Okay, tak ada. Cuma ni tadi when you were talking about the movie, right? Was it
Yes,
Deepwater Horizon? Right.
yes,
In
thank you
2016
Nakib.
kan?
Ya. Deepwater Horizon. Saya boleh terlupa pula. Saya tengok 3 kali. Anyway, because my feel. Ada. Alright. Okay. So now talking about safety lah, term of safety itself lah. Go to basic lah. Saya tak nak go detail. I think go to basic because you need to understand the fundamental is right. Baru you boleh kan. Kalau your fundamental is tak ke mana, macam mana you nak apply. So kat sini dia mention the state of being safe. Okay. Kalau dalam French word tu dia panggil sauve. Saya tak pandai lah. Mungkin my pronunciation is wrong. Okay. Is the condition of being protected from harm or other non-driver outcome. Senang je. Okay. Kalau you tengok kat tengah-tengah tu ada gambar orang tengah buka some sort of casing tu kan. Safety is about control of accidental loss. Loss ni apa? Loss ni banyak. Loss of life, loss of asset, and loss of environment, reputation, macam-macam. So that loss kita try to prevent atau control. Okay, so that's basically about loss. Kalau banyakkannya ada juga orang mention control of recognized hazard in order to achieve the acceptable release. Nanti cerita sikit. We will telling about you a little bit about risk lah. So people are talking about, I mean, how the differentiate between risk, hazard and safety. Okay, kat bawah tu ada mention sikit lah. Okay, risk ni simple je. You take this formula, you pergi mana-mana pun, whatever application is right. Risk is about likelihood and severity. So kalau you boleh balance tu, normally is a low risk lah. Kalau severity high, likelihood high, then risk is low high. So that's where likelihood, severity, itu je risk ni. Pergi mana-mana pun. Cuma mungkin term tu lah berubah sikit. Masuk financial risk, maybe berubah sikit lah. Kan? But then risk is there. It's about balancing between potential or likelihood. And if this fail, the severity of it is high or not, high or low. And hazard it is, hazard ni pula, kalau kita tengok, is anything that can cause harm to you. Okay. Contoh, you duduk. Now everybody are sitting. Kalau you duduk apa ni, your chair is you duduk tak diam lah. Duduk kaki 4, you duduk kaki 2. Ada hazard tak? I mean, there is a hazard there, which is potential for you to cause harm lah. Boleh jatuh. You jalan at home, dalam bilik air, at the kitchen, ada some oil or water spill, you step on it. The water on the floor itself is a hazard that can cause harm to you. Okay. And of course, kalau tengok safety, I mean, we mentioned about safety already lah. So a temporary moment when the physical harm is low, where apa ni, orang kata the other side of it, safety is about when the, something that can cause harm you lah. So the whole idea is about prevention. The whole idea of safety is about prevention. So you have to create system that prevent the incident from happen. Macam mana? Okay, I will share with you a bit later on. Okay, next. Okay, this is some incident, a big incident lah. Orang kata catastrophic incident that had happened in the past. Okay, saya start slowly about Piper Alpha. Maybe kalau normally whoever in the chemical industry or oil and gas industry, they will heard about this Piper incident in 1988, where apa ni, one of the platform tu meletup and terbakar. It's about 167 people die because of that. And the whole platform yang you nampak tu on the top left tu tenggelam. Okay. And just imagine how bad it was, scenario was at that time. And then you tengok api tu pun you dah takut kan. And the other one is about the Exxon Valdez, di mana kapal ni dibawa oleh one pilot. It was taken, mentioned about either dia apa tu, dia mengantuk atau dia mabuk, and causing that hit to ni oil spill. Habis oil spill. So because of human negligence. And Bhopal, you heard about Bhopal because of the process safety kind of thing, release of a chemical, and ramai man tinggal dalam 6,000 lebih tak silap saya die on that. Macondo, I share with you just now what happened. Macondo ni the worst oil spill in the world lah. Okay. And I mentioned BP kena bayar compensation about 60 billion and more. Mungkin bertambah lagi lah. Itu pun dah lama dah statistik tu. Chernobyl, nuclear. Okay. Because of poor prevention, because of poor management system, because of poor ni, that's result in kalau you tengok cerita Chernobyl, saya tengok it's quite slow lah. Cuma somehow it gives you some learning about how culture, how apa ni, masa tu it was a communist kat Rusia. How they manage control by certain party that because of reaction decision making was so poor, menyebabkan benda tu sampai melarat lah, sampai nak cerita benda sebenar pun tak jadi, sampai ke dah sampai ke Europe lah dia punya exposure tu. Okay. Fukushima ini because of gempa bumi lah, and then release of banyak lagi lah, I mean banyak lagi incident that when it happened it impact severely to our community. Kita nasib baik tak duduk dalam that environment. Okay, kalau whoever stay in the certain environment that banyak chemical tu, so apa ni, you have to apa ni, choose your place rightly lah. Kalau ada apa incident yang kena kita dululah. Let's try to be in a safe area to make sure that you do the risk assessment accordingly, so that bila you beli rumah tu, jauh daripada suasana yang boleh apa ni involve your family. Okay, next. Okay, this is some of the example lah. I have 3 example here based on a poorly managed HSC atau safety system untuk prevent. So this is air emission, yang mana you pollute the air. You tengok if you look into the before Olympic, just remember before Olympic, China was hit worse by this air pollution, smoke and so on. So China tak apalah, dia have the power, stop semua kereta, stop semua ni, stop semua. Terus that. Tapi kalau kita nak buat macam tu, memang tak boleh lah. Next election memang kalah. Contoh macam tu lah. So that's how China can change that. Walaupun dia pollute before Olympic start, okay? Before Olympic start, then dia can make that rule to make sure that it is no for the emission. They can do that. But now after masa PKP, masa MCO in the whole world, masa COVID, you can see that it's how it changed the landscape lah of that pollution, because activity kurang and so on. But now start to picking up balik lah. That's why we need to make sure that we are controlling that lah. Okay, next. Okay, this is the water. This is air. Ada 3 benda. Just to give you some flavor how safety can. Just now air. Okay. Now the one has going into the water. If you look into this, and you heard about so many cases, especially I'm living in Selangor, so you have water shortage a lot. Okay, due to outdoor pollution of the water treatment. Okay, somebody spill something, somebody release their chemical into the upstream of the water intake and causing that masuk dalam plant, and plant have to shut down supaya air tu, contaminated water tu tak pergi sampai ke consumer. Kalau sampai ke consumer, lagi parah kan. So that's why they have to do that. But somehow it doesn't look good lah in terms of how we manage the water, because every time ada pollution je, you have to shut down. Kita tak ada water 3-4 hari. So that kind of thing. So you tengok all this dalam gambar ni, in this photo, this is where the source coming from lah, where the pollution from the industry, from the farming, from water treatment, from the factory disposal, from the oil spill of the ship itself. Kadang-kadang kapal pergi parking, buang. Kadang-kadang lori terbalik kan kat highway. Tapi because dalam lori tanker tu ada minyak masuk dalam sungai, contaminate. Okay. Those are the thing that we have to prevent lah. Okay, dan banyak lagi dah deforestation ni the worst case is bila deforestation air tu tanah-tanah seluk semua masuk dalam sungai. Sungai dulu jernih boleh nampak ikan, now become teh tarik already. So those are the thing that we are looking at. So as engineer, so we have responsibility to make sure that when we work, this is the thing that we need to look into lah. Okay, to make sure that the important thing is I like to have the prevention mindset that we put in place. So when we design something, we have to think to the future. Maksudnya anak-anak kita nanti kalau kita buat benda ni, adakah berlaku ni, akan berlaku ni, akan berlaku ni. So kalau kita boleh take a place or a tool that help us in the future, then it's good. Okay. Next. This is common lah. I think if you see, this is solid waste, yang mana kita masih ada masalah lah. And walaupun di negara kita, in our country, we still have a problem with solid waste, nak dispose solid waste dumping site. Previously, now I think no more lah kot. We still import waste masuk dalam Malaysia. Kan? Something unique about it. We still import. And suddenly somebody say, oh, this is, we have to send back. Orang dah hantar masuk kan. So those are the thing yang the policy have to be right lah in the first place. So that you can create system that drive the behavior. So that this kind of issue tak timbul sebenarnya. Kalau kita have restrict requirement waste daripada ni tak boleh masuk, then fine. Ni sekarang boleh masuk. Dan kita punya nak manage in our own country pun we have a problem. Kita bawa masuk pula. Those kind of thing lah. So that's something that we need to think in the future. As a young and new engineer coming into the industry later on, in terms of prevention, how we can curb this from happen in the future lah. Okay, next. Alright, I just share with you the simple thing lah. This year saja, there was 4 case which is related to water contamination, odor contamination. Bulan Mac di Selangor, di Klang Valley. Bulan Mac 17 bulan Mac there is 1 case we have to shut down, and bulan April ada lagi 20 area was contaminated, no water, and September was 1292 area was contaminated, maksudnya tak ada air, okay, because of odor punya pollution. And October, okay, kurang sikit, 2,274 area. So these are the thing that make us think lah. Okay, ni why this happen? Should we have some sort of barrier in earlier stage so that kalau yang mana contaminated tu, we can divert to yang ada ni, so kita can use the other water treatment so that we can still supply walaupun. So those kind of arrangement, of course. I believe during the design of this, mungkin they dah think about that. But then now it become worse. People get meeting more. So in the future, when you start to do something that related to this, you must have some barrier that orang kata kalau ada 5 barrier pun 5 barrier lah kan, supaya air tu still boleh supply. The end of the day boleh supply kepada consumer rather than you have to shut down and produce it. So that's the idea that we need to flourish lah, innovate a little bit so that we can help the society have a better life. Okay, next. Okay, this is, I think you still remember one case as Kim Sungai Kim. At that time my daughter still belajar dekat Pasir Gudang, UTHM Pasir Gudang. So I have to go there and pick her back to home because of that. University was ITM tutup, so kita bawa balik. And one case yang banyak kalau you tengok ni yang budak tu, the children of they mentioned the South Asia is hardest hit by the air pollution. So maksudnya kita is walaupun kita bukan South Asia, kita Southeast Asia. So there is an activity that we need to reduce so that our future generation is breathing fresh air, good air. Okay, we have to learn from that rather than later on kita jadi macam tu. So we need to put some measure earlier so that we can prevent we can have control of that, so that future generation, anak-anak kita, cucu-cucu kita, that become having a better air to breathe, kan. Kita alhamdulillah, I think ada hikmah lah. I mean COVID, for the past few years we don't experience haze anymore, right? So alhamdulillah, because of maybe Indonesia ataupun negara-negara kita dah control that, okay, dah control in term of open burning and so on. And at the same time, because of COVID, the restriction to go out is there. So due to that, tak ada pembakaran. So that's one thing that we can see dah. Kalau tidak dulu, API index naik tinggi je, sekolah tutup dan sebagainya. That's that's something that we try to avoid lah. Kalau boleh kekalkan ni sampai bila-bila, alhamdulillah. So because why? Activity pembakaran is still there. So how to improve that? We have to think something, innovate, so that they can do that, burn that in a safe manner, so that they can tak pollute negara-negara jiran. So that's we have to think out of the box lah, how to do that. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. Understanding of concern. Why is this crucial lah? Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Now I'm talking more about sustainability. This is not my forte, but then I try to explain as much as possible based on my capacity here today lah. I will not read all. You have time to read, but then I will highlight few key points here just to make sure that kita really understand what is sustainability, why it's important to me, to you, and to us all. Okay. Okay. Kalau kita tengok the top left of the slide there, they mentioned about avoidance of.
这一个是几分10分钟哦，半小时，我这边调整半小时啊，就是公司嘛，这种都是。
Okay, sorry. Sorry, it's okay, Can continue. All right. The mention here is avoidance of depletion of natural resources in order to maintain ecology balance. Ini bagi saya is quite huge word lah. Okay. Masa situ avoidance, depletion. Apa? Natural resources. Natural resources ni apa? Air, minyak, all those things. Okay. And in order to maintain the ecology balance. Okay. Yang ecology balance ni penting. Kalau you tengok on the bottom right, there is a 3 subset there, 3 color. I letak C kat situ. Social, environment, economy there. Itu kita nak balance kan yang tu. So make sure that the social, the economy and the environment is balanced, so that we have a sustainable environment, sustainable product, sustainable workplace. Okay. So but the key point I want to highlight here as on the left bottom of the underneath the earth there, they said that meeting our own needs. Okay, at this moment, what is our need? Meeting our own need without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. So meaning that we have to do something that meet our need. That need have to make sure that meet the future generation requirement need also. It's not our need only. So that's where you need to have you need to think ahead, think far, think future. So when you do something, you develop something, you can have a product that is sustainable. Okay, so that's it's simple. It's simple that what you do today, okay, this is to fill my need. Okay, but anyhow, I need to make sure that this need is fulfilled in the future. Make sure you don't contaminate. You make sure you don't pollute the oil, the river, you don't emit the air that pollute the environment. That's just something that you have to think about. Simple as that. Okay. Others on the top right, they mentioned about the UN mentioned about the need to minimize ecology damage, preserve, and the need to present without compromising the red text there, the red font there, that meet their own needs. Okay. And at the bottom there, I try to search literature, some of the key terms that used by Institute of Civil Engineer. I hope it's related to you lah. Okay. It mentioned about the one that I highlight just now, meeting the needs of today without compromising those tomorrow. Meeting the need of today without compromising of those tomorrow. Okay, remember that. As an engineer, as a civil engineer, you do something that example here mentioned about safe energy, minimizing damage of the environment. You see the photo just now, the landslide, the collapse of the building, and so on and so on. So those are the things that you need to think how to prevent that, how to make sure that we don't damage, we don't deplete the natural resources. I'm working in oil and gas. Okay, as you know, the oil reservoir that available in Malaysia water or Malaysia land, and one day they will end, will finish. Doesn't matter how long, but it take maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or 50 years, or 100 years, doesn't matter, but it will end. Okay, so we have to think about something that is, I think you heard about renewable energy, the fan, the wind, the wave, they are using wave, the solar. Those are the things that have to think that relevancy to us, so that we can bring that the future. Instead of don't use a few fossil fuel anymore, we can use the solar. Okay, now we're starting to see the car using a lot of electric car, minimize burning, so that we can use emissions, CO2 and NOx, SOx. Those are the things that are going to move on. Okay. All right. Just to highlight the thing, just remember that the three circle there, the one, the subset. Okay, I will explain more on that later on. But if you are looking or you are doing some project, some activity which is related to sustainable, which is related to, doesn't matter what it is, think about this thing. I put it C here. You see, social, environment, and the other one is economy. Okay, economic. So make sure that three is balanced at the end of the day. Okay, next. Okay. Why is important? Just to highlight again. Just I think I did mention to you already. This is to ensure a future for all. Simple as that. So meaning what we do is it's not just a matter of at that time only, but this is for our future. So what we do to make sure that we create a better tomorrow lah. Okay. Reduce energy usage. So once you reduce energy usage, less burning, less and so on, you don't pollute. Okay. So those are the things. Okay. A lot of activity which you can do at home. Later on, I share with you something that you can start practicing. Healthy habit for all. Okay, meaning that you produce something that save the air, save the water, and produce less waste. So those are the things. Societal impact, meaning that something that you create to make sure that it is still there. I remember when I was a kid, I mean, simple as that. I remember when I was kids, I went to visit Malacca lah. I still remember. I go up to A Formosa, you know, maybe the one who similar age with me. You go and see Formosa. The Formosa there is just nearby the beach. Kalau orang Melaka kan, very near. And now, when you go see that, the beach is so far. Kan? Sebab tu dia build the kubu kat situ, because of the near to the sea kan. Kalau tidak, kenapa kubu ada kat situ? So this is something that impact our environment lah. Saya tak pasti kenapa jadi macam tu. Mungkin because of ditambak. So try to get more land so that they can build activity there. So jadi laut tu jadi sempit kan. Laut so that's how it happened lah. Okay. I still remember that. I mean, those are the things that we need to think in the future, so that yes, you create something, but then that's why kalau you tengok jumpa kota lama sejarah ke mana-mana kan, tengok kubu atas bukit. Kenapa kubu atas bukit kan? Previously, maybe there is a sea or wherever it is, but then think a logic about it. Why? So because of the environment have changed. So when it changed, then that's where the impact is. Okay. Prevent consequences of man-made global warming and so on. Ini global warming related dengan climate change and so on, where the temperature start reducing and bila reducing, start increasing, jadi panas. So bila panas lebih sikit, di north area atau south area start cair, air pun mula naik, the impact dia banyak. Okay, consequences itu domino effect. Okay, that's why simple thing, we have to maintain the temperature so that the ice is there, the water level don't go up seriously. Kalau go up seriously without control, some of the country may be tenggelam. Macam Amsterdam, dia duduk bawah air kan. Thailand dekat-dekat Chao Phraya punya tu pun dah bawah air kan. So those are the things that they have to consider lah. Okay. So dalam ni mention about 3 things tadi, C, social, economy and environment. You see there on economic, about economic growth, affordable, energy security, process efficiency, output and desired product. Macam social ni, creating a job and workforce development, health and well-being, food security, okay, dan social acceptability. Kan? Just imagine kita food, mudah-mudahlah food security. We try to control food sekarang ni. Kita kat Malaysia pun I believe we still have to import makanan from others kan, because tak balance dari segi food produce dengan consumption. Ikan daripada laut mari tak banyak, sayur ditanam tak banyak, beras tak cukup. So kita terpaksa import. Bila import, you know dah, economic kan, you hilang you punya kuasa tu dari segi, kalau bila ada apa benda-benda, ada security issue yang mana you tak boleh nak import, then your society will be trouble lah. So those kind of thing we have to think, this is long term lah, and kita have to think that how we can improve that to make sure that food security is good. Simple as that lah. Water quality and quantity, soil quality, ini banyak berkaitan on environment ni. I believe civil engineer banyak related lah. Bila you nak build dam, bila nak build jalan, nak build construction building, nak buat apa lagi, bridges, nak buat, doesn't matter lah. Maksudnya you have to consider that. Sebab tu correct me prof atau doktor semua, when you do a project which is more than 20 million, you need to do EIA. Okay, why? Because of this EIA can help you to make sure that kalau proper duit lah, you do a assessment properly, so that whatever you build, the environment tu is you can sustain that properly lah. Sekarang ni banyak dah eco kind of construction that was built in Malaysia lah. You tengok bangunan depan KLCC pun bangunan tinggi tapi dia tanam pokok-pokok. Just try to make sure that it's nampak green lah. Maybe there is some benefit of it, but then commercially still there lah. Bagi saya commercially jadi semakin mahal lah. Because ada hijau jadi semakin mahal. But then somehow it's good kan. You start to think about that. Slowly kita improve that. As a new engineer, when you come into industry, make it as something as part of the process. So when you build a city, when you build a township, balance kan antara kehijauan dengan pokok, smart city, smart building and so on. We will discuss later on. Okay, next. Okay, this is a big picture of it lah. I just give you some big picture of sustainability. Yang mana saya seka tu maybe related to us here lah, dalam forum hari ni lah, dalam lecture hari ni. You have to think about digital revolution, because kita are moving into IR 4.0. Try to think about something that kita can digitalize to minimize the activity and so on, so that kita can have a sustainability product. Tapi yang tu pun kena jaga-jagalah, jangan sampai dia control kita. Contoh mudah-mudahlah handphone kita ni kan. So it's already part of ourselves. Kita nak pergi mana-mana, because of the requirement, kena bawa phone sebab apa? Nak scan MySejahtera kan, nak masuk. Simple as that. So it become part of us already. So kalau tertinggal handphone, bolehlah tulis atas buku tu kan. Tapi you rasa macam okay, sebab dia tak boleh tengok you punya vaccination dan sebagainya. So those are the thing that become part of us. So pergi mana-mana kena bawa handphone kan. The smart city, I mentioned just now how to make sure a decent house, mobility, sustainable infrastructure dan kurangkan pollution. Maksudnya example you tengok kan, kalau saya notice lah dekat-dekat rumah saya ni, saya duduk Sepang lah. When they build highway, keliling highway tu ada jalan tu bypass, it was a swarm kan, the swarm. And you just imagine, in my view lah, when you build something, you make sure that consider yang tepi-tepi you whatever you going to build lah. So there is a tali air properly so that they can salur water to the right. Kalau tidak, when rain come, air pergi semua baja. So that's how, in my view, that we design benda tu poorly. Kita tak ambil berat pasal that drainage system yang mana properly drainage water into in dan salur water kepada tempat-tempat yang sesuai. Those are the thing that we need to think in the future. So it's about prevention lah. So when you design, you inherently build into the part of the process so that you don't create issue or incident later on. When the benda tu siap, tiba-tiba banjir kilat datang. Bila siap, slot datang. Bila siap, macam-macam. You experience that, you see that in the day. Baca berita boleh nampak lah macam-macam kan. Food biosphere saya dah cerita tadi lah. Sustainable food, forest, make sure that forest kita ada. Sekarang ni target people dia tanam banyak pokok supaya dia offset dengan carbon kan. Bila kita emit ada pokok, so banyak ada setengah-setengah company tu dia beli tanam pokok supaya dia boleh offset. Tapi benda tu is a huge investment lah, but then it's good. You at least you start tanam pokok bakau supaya nak kurangkan tsunami, bila tsunami datang kurang, those kind of thing. Decarbonization and energy access, energy efficiency, electrician and decent services. Those are the thing that is related to us. Consumption and production, resources use. Okay. Contoh you nak build construction, you nak ambil batu, yang nak buat cement and so on. Sometimes kita tengok banyak. Saya tengok bila kita renovate rumah, somebody renovate rumah, those tile, batu dan sebagainya pecah. Kat mana dia buang? Kan? Apa boleh buat dengan benda macam tu? Adakah boleh digunakan balik untuk jadikan bahan mentah balik, jadikan batai, jadikan apa kan? I just saw just now one of the thing in Nigeria. Banyak tayar, dia kata about 100,000 cars. So they produce millions of tires. Orang kata tayar yang tak pakai. So dia ambil tayar tu, dia pergi produce, buat tile untuk jalan raya digunakan. So something like that, something that simple, yang mana kalau dia ambil tayar tu, biasanya kita buat apa? Bakar. And bila bakar, then of course lah, dia pulut lah. And so that's I try to balance it out lah. Okay, next. Okay, this is the one that I show you. Each of us can do this. Each of us. Okay. Contoh lah, I don't know how far your place with the university. At this moment you online. Sekarang ni pun banyak aktiviti berkaitan dengan basikal. Naik basikal, macam saya nak naik basikal pergi kerja tu jauh lah, 60 km. Saya duduk Sepang nak pergi ke KL, jauh. So what I did, I don't drive, I take a train. So at least I'm helping the environment lah. At least kan. Contoh macam tu lah. Tapi orang selesa nak bawa kereta sendiri. Saya tak apa. Saya lebih selesa naik train, ambil train sampai, lepas tu ambil LRT sampai ke office. 45 minit sampai. Saya tak pening-pening nak lalu jam lah apa semua. And at the same time, saya at least minor contribution on the pollution. So saya tak pollute the environment because my car is at home. Tak gerak satu hari. So that kind of thing lah kan. Education, continue to do that. Educate supaya kita ni kita manusia, kita benda lupa. That's where we need to refresh again and again, educate again and again. Never ending the education. Voluntary, kalau ada aktiviti NGO yang mana nak volunteer, ambil peluang lah, tolonglah, do something benefit to everybody. Okay, reuse, recycle, do that. Plastik, bottle and so on, do that at home. Simple thing. Air, kalau boleh kurangkan air, conserve. Kalau perlu just kadang-kadang kita bergigi kan, simple brush our teeth, pipe buka, air bul, just like that. Why not just tutup je, baru lagi sampai siap, pakailah. Tidak pun pakai cawan, simple as that. So try to save some water. Walaupun small contribution, it bring a lot to you lah, to the whole society. Kalau seorang satu gelas saya pakai, just imagine berapa banyak boleh save kan air tu kan. Instead of 10 liter of water, just drain out. Macam tu je. Pakai 250 ml, just for bergigi, semua settle dah. You save banyak mana. Just imagine, seorang buat, kalau semua orang buat macam tu, then okay. Shop pakai tote bag yang recycle, kurangkan plastik. Saya yang tu masih poor lagi lah. Masalahnya lupa bawa semua. So bila pergi kedai, okay, nak plastik, lemak banyak pula ni kan. So okay, naklah plastik lah, bawa plastik balik, timbul plastik kan. So that's I'm personally lah, I still educate myself lah, to make sure that I have that in place. Lampu, food dan lain-lain dah, pengurangan chemical yang pengurangan and so on. I just mentioned that at the bottom there, how significant it is. Kalau you baca yang teks kat bawah, did you know tu kan? Dia kata kat situ, one less staple a day by using paperclip. Paperclip, okay? Dia kata you can save 120 ton of steel would be saved in 1 year. Banyak tu kan? Instead of clip, you pakai paperclip, recycle je paperclip tu kan. Tapi kita dah biasa kadang-kadang, sedap je kan. Kadang-kadang I think make it practice, make it a good habit is still a difficult part. That's why I'm going to share with you a little bit about the behavior, how to do that. Next. How times is we are good with the time or Masa okay
It's still okay, Doctor? Boleh lagi?
Right. Okay.
Right.
So as an engineer again, I'm just repeat again, reuse, reduce waste, recycle. You have to think about that. Conserve energy. Example, build something that smart building. Something that I remember my friend was when I was with Mimimos. He was one of the group pioneer who designed the concept of smart building in Malaysia. But somehow I don't see much lah. I don't see a lot in Malaysia nowadays. Green building, we see a lot of green building. I don't know. It's not about building is paint in green, but then you have more trees that balance it out. The one that you have. Sustainable resources, the wind, solar, and so on. Okay, next. Okay, we nearly there. Be patient a little bit with me. Okay, nak habis dah, tak lama lagi. How to inherent influence accessibility. Okay, I'm telling you again that kita, kalau you tengok the photo there, it's all about the building that try to create the green building lah. Okay, think the future generation. Instead of you going to work by car, you take something that like a train kan. Contoh, kalau rumah you dekat dengan office, jalan kaki. Kan, setengah-setengah tu duduk public apartment dekat dengan office, jalan kaki lah kan. So kadang-kadang tu malas, bawa kereta juga tu pergi office. I pun tak faham. Anyway, use sustainable product yang mana lebih kan. Make a transport adjustment so that kita, macam tadi lah saya cakap, you choose the safer or the environmental friendly punya transportation, concept and idea so that you can implement, cut down the non-biodegradable product, contoh plastik lah. I think we have a lot of issue about plastik, memang banyak. So how to use that. Sekarang ni nampak lah, straw tu dah jadi new trend lah. Kita dah pakai paper straw. Tapi so slow lah. I think kita start to go into that direction. Dulu bila pakai paper straw, tak sedap lah itu ni. Normal lah tu. Okay. So promote recycle, reuse, and reduce. This is the thing that as an individual, as a student, as a human being, we can do. Okay. Move next slide, Doctor. Okay, now talking about safety. Okay, now I need some activity here lah with you all. Sebab I tengok semua dah ngantuk ni. Ada gambar, okay. Dengan saya membebel, saya pun rasa macam apa ni, cakap sorang-sorang ni. Kalau face to face boleh kita tanya soalan kan.
Dia sebenarnya bila offline ni kita tak nampak orang dekat belakang tu apa dia buat.
Itulah, itu disadvantage. Kita ni macam-macam dah cara nak bagi kan. So kata tak tentu depa ni buat apa pun tak tahu. Anyway, okay. So I'm talking about industrial safety pula. Okay, how industrial safety relate to that. So the goal point I highlight here in that slide is mention about prevention again. So this is the thing that we need to do to make sure that we prevent so that dia tak berlaku insiden. So bila tak berlaku insiden tak adalah spill dan sebagainya. Okay, move on. Next. Okay, basic concept. Okay, this is a high level concept, holistic view about siapa pernah tengok this Swiss cheese concept dia panggil. Okay, normally kalau dalam orang industri, orang HSC, orang process safety, they used to use this concept lah. I explain a little bit about Swiss cheese concept ni. You tengok cheese tu, kenapa pakai cheese? Because this was developed or established in Europe lah by this scholar. Bila kita ada hazard, remember hazard, anything that can cause harm. So bila ada hazard, so there is a barrier in place. Barrier ni can be anything. Soft barrier. Soft barrier ni macam training, competency, skill. Hard barrier. Kalau kata hard barrier ni macam wall ke, macam anything yang brain yang you design it, contoh building, contoh hard barrier dalam bangunan apa dia, pintu yang kali sapi tahan 2 jam, something like that. When you have fire, it can stand for 2 hours, so that api tu tak boleh nak merebak ke the next door. Okay, itu contoh hard barrier. And the other one is a soft barrier lah. Okay, hard barrier and document. And all these barrier are managed by human. Remember that these barrier are managed by human. So biasanya kalau bila ada masalah, that's why they tengok hole kat situ, whole of the cheese are aligned among it. That's where accident happen. Meaning that barrier yang kita bina tu ada loophole. Bila dia ada loophole, dia inline tu, dia start to inline, then that's where orang kata the hazard to maneuvering that cause incident. Kalau you tengok lah, that's the concept it is. So saya mention kat situ, saya tak explain lah hazard apa, barrier apa ada kat situ. And accident apa. Accident ni at the end of result. Normally accident is a result already. Bila berlaku tu ada kecederaan, ada property damage, okay, ada pollution dan sebagainya. So that's where it is. Basically it's about loss lah. Bila berlaku hazard ni dah berjaya menembusi all this barrier. Contohnya prosedur tak betul, satu lubang. Lepas tu bila prosedur tak betul, orang yang buat ni pun buat sambil level, satu lubang lagi. So at the end of the day, bila barrier to fail, you reach that. That's where the concept of a Swiss cheese model is lah. Okay. Kalau soalan ada tanya lepas ni. Okay, next. Okay, this is just simple illustration lah. Kalau you tengok, saya nak highlight kat sini is about where the human is. Each barrier to manage by human. Okay, procedure, activity, bila you buat sesuatu, human yang do that. Okay. Contohlah, you drive a car. Okay, you drive a car. Okay. When you sampai ke junction, apa hazard ke junction itu? So tiba-tiba kereta keluar, kan? Tiba-tiba somebody overtake you bila you nak masuk junction ke rumah you lah contoh. So apa yang barrier yang you ada supaya orang bila kita nak masuk rumah kita tu, area kawasan lorong rumah kita tu, apa barrier yang kita bagi signal, kita tengok kita tengok cermin dulu. That's become our barrier to make sure that bila kita buat benda tu, kita pastikan kita selamat untuk pergi situ. Kalau kita tak buat benda tu, contohnya lah, nak sampai ke junction another 30 meter, Tapi you tak bagi signal, you terus pusing balik. Tiba-tiba motor datang. That's where your barriers fail and cause accident. Contoh, saya bagi contoh yang mudah lah. So all these are controlled by human. Next. Okay, typical of a hazard. Hazard, remember, hazard, anything that can cause harm or damage. Apa benda saja. You duduk pun ada hazard. Kalau you duduk tak betul, tiba-tiba duduk lama-lama, you lengah punggung, kan? So those are the thing yang become dia ada safety hazard, dia ada biological hazard macam nyamuk Aedes, bacteria, COVID, physical hazard, panas, you dealing with heat, you dealing with a lot, agronomic, agronomic ni banyak, especially student, kita angkat barang, kita angkat gunakan belakang, dah salah tu, so you have to use your knee to make that, that's a hazard, chemical hazard, you know lah, chemical kat rumah pun banyak. You campur tu campur ni untuk cuci lantai, at the end of the day become a toxic fume. You sedut, you muntah-muntah, you react on it, adverse effect. So those are the hazard that available. Okay. Next. Okay. Just snap for a while. Maybe one or two boleh just answer this lah. From this picture, apa hazard yang you nampak? Maybe one or two boleh jawab kalau siapa-siapa yang volunteer.
Okay, volunteers from the audience. Anyone?
What do you see hazard here? Just try to build your understanding on what is a hazard lah, because this is penting lah dalam industrial safety. Anybody? Simple lah, banyak tu. Tunjuk satu dua pun cukup dah. Okay. Anyone? Calling one, calling two. Come on. Takkan tidur lah.
Oil spill.
Yes. Good. Siapa jawab tu?
Saya.
Good. Okay.
Saya tu siapa?
Syafi'i, SWM, MIM.
Okay, terima kasih Cik Syafi'i.
Cik Syafi'i, thank you. Siapa lagi? Dua lagi. Come on.
Okay, Dr. Taram, ada jawapan daripada Nurul Arifah dekat chat box. Spillage, angkat kotak berat.
Yes. One more?
Okay, one more.
Improper standing. Carry.
Kita tukar lampu.
Yes, betul.
Okay. Banyak lagi lah. So example lah, welding dekat flammable stuff, you tengok belakang tu kan. Tu api, then you letak flammable stuff, diesel ke fuel ke. I think you get it lah kan. Simple as that. So if you see something like that, meaning that's considered hazard lah. So just to give you some flavor. Okay, move on, next one. Okay, then I mentioned about risk again. Once you dah jumpa hazard, normally we do the risk assessment, try to understand the hazard tu bahaya ke tidak. Contoh tadilah, oil spill. In your view, kalau somebody step on it, likelihood to step on it, kalau ramai-ramai, high. And then kalau jatuh, kaki terseliuh, so risk dia rendah ke biasanya? Rendah atau tinggi? Kan? Boleh cedera lah. Basically, kalau cedera tu boleh terseliuh, which is you menyebabkan you tak datang kerja 2-3 hari. Tu mungkin medium. Okay, mungkin high pun ada juga. Kadang-kadang setengah jatuh tu, sebab dia tungkat tangan dia patah. Terpaksa operate. Kan, dan betulkan tangan, become high. So those depend on situation lah. Okay, itu maksud dia risk kat situ. Yang berdiri atas tong tu, for you is a high risk or low risk? Just qualitative je, jangan quantitative. Just qualitative. For some of you.
High risk.
Kalau jatuh apa jawab aku? Simple as that.
So kalau jatuh, dia akan sama ada boleh kan patah tulang belakang.
Kan, tulang belakang. Serius tu kan?
Yes, betul, serius.
Dan likelihood untuk benda tu jatuh is there lah, because kalau pakai tangga tu, okay lah kita stable. Ini dah drum atas drum. Sengit pula tu kan. So those are the thing lah. Now you get it lah maksud saya. That's what I try to understand. So when you look surrounding you, simple as that. Kalau you nampak, ni potential is high ni. So kalau as individual, just stop telling dia jangan buat macam tu, bahaya tu, nanti kan jatuh kan patah tangan. Tak apalah, dia nak benci pun tak apa, at least kita stop kan. Saya pernah masuk ke kedai makan lah. Saya sebab orang safety tak tahulah jadi perangai saya. So pergi kedai Kak Wuk lah, nasi dia goreng ayam ni, goreng ayam garing ni. Lepas tu hari tu orang ramai. Dia ada 3 orang staff je. Seorang nak jaga ni, seorang nak buat air, seorang nak pergi tambah nasi. Lepas tu dia goreng ayam, dia tinggal je kat situ. So saya duduk perhati lama lah, sampai kuali tu dah berasap lah, hitam. Saya pun angkat tangan. Angkat tangan cakap kat keluar kedai. Dek. Cakap, mai. Tu, pergi tutup gas tu cepat. Api nak naik tu. Kalau tidak saya pergi tutup sendiri lah. Dia pun pergi tutup. Lepas tu dia marah lah pun kerja-kerja dia. Oh, lapar tinggal lah. Anyway, I do my part lah to help. Kalau tidak, saya rasa, tapi apa yang berlaku, ayam tu memang dah terbakar lah. Memang hangus lah. Dah hangus dah. Bila nampak dia angkat tu, hitam. Sampai terpaksa saya nampak tu, dia ambil tu, dia pergi buang. Lepas tu kuali tu, dia buang minyak, pergi basuh kuali. Sebab hitam dah kuali tu. Sebab dia tinggal lama sangat. Simple as that. Kan? Kalau kita nampak benda yang kita patut tegur lah. Tak apalah orang benci. Tapi at least kita feel proud that kita dah selamatkan dia. Okay, move. Next one. Ini dalam risk for the organisation. Saya cerita ni pasal dekat oil and gas lah. I'm looking into this high level of risk. Kalau you tengok situ, improper management of asset integrity that can cause incident. Lack of competency. Kompetensi ni maksudnya kepakaran, kemahiran dalam buat kerja. Contoh, kalau saya bukan welder, tapi saya nak jadi welder, tak boleh. You have to be trained as a welder baru you boleh buat. That's maksudnya kompetensi. Improper behavior ni kadang-kadang bawa perangai-perangai yang tak elok, suka bergurau-gurau, dan kita potential ada insiden. Poor engagement, maksudnya kita cakap dengan, especially kita dengan contractors. Bila kita bawa kontraktor masuk, okay, kita tahu, okay, kau buatlah kerja kau. Kita tak ada betul-betul cakap dengan dia, this is the issue, this is the hazard, this is the problem kat sini, you have to make sure that you buat ni, follow step by step, engage with them, make them understand the hazard. So bila dia faham hazard tu, bila dia execute the work, dia orang katakan deliver safely lah kan. Kebanyakan tu jenis kita assume dia tahu, sebenarnya dia tak tahu. Dan dia tak tahu kenapa dia kena pakai head, kenapa dia pakai safety glass, kenapa dia pakai safety shoe. Simple as that. Okay. Dan lain-lain lah, for planning dan sebagainya. So these are the threat. Di mana threat yang mana kita letak. So saya kalau nampak yang huruf L di situ tu, so supaya threat tu tak menjadi insiden, you have to have some barrier. Maksudnya proses, prosedur dan sebagainya lah to make sure that we have. Remember the Swiss cheese tadi? That's the same concept. Okay. Cuma dia ada kiri dan kanan. Kanan tu, kalau kita fail to do that, they must have a barrier supaya the incident tu, kelakuan kejadian tu, api tu instead of jadi besar, bila kita ada barrier tu dia boleh kurangkan. Orang tu cedera ringan, instead of jadi cedera berat, kita ada some process to make sure that barrier tu to make sure that dia tu tak cedera parah. So those are the thing. Okay? Contohnya orang cedera, masa dia kena cedera tu, dia dapat treatment as a first aid. Because kita ni lambat nak respond to that, which is on the right side of the bow tie, the diagram tu, lambat to respond of that. Benda tu contaminate by bacteria, tangan tu dia jadi teruk, terpaksa potong. Tu. That's what it mean by on the right side tu. So make sure you put the barrier to make sure that it is in place. Okay. Next, move on. So satu lagi, this is my specialty lah. This is what I'm doing during my engineering doctorate, about how ABC model ni, A tu antecedent, stimulator, activator, influence behavior, that behavior result in consequences. Kalau you tengok kat situ, dia ada definition there. Saya bagi example mudah-mudah ya ABC ni kan. Telefon kita berbunyi. What we do? Automatically kita akan pick up dan kita akan bercakap. Contohlah, kalau berita yang kita dengar tu menggembirakan. Oh, anak saya dapat result, CJ Dekan 3.5 and above. So that's reaction, you are happy. Tiba-tiba you dapat result mengatakan, oh, you kena repeat lah this paper. What do you feel? Then you punya surprise, then become sad. That's ABC. So meaning that sebelum consequences tu berlaku, there must have an activator, kan? Activator yang influence the behavior that result in that. Contoh mudah-mudah lah. Bulan puasa, kan? Bulan puasa, kita pergi bazar Ramadan, kan? Ini lapar perut ni, puasa, pergi bazar Ramadan. Activator kita, oh tengok, wah makanan ni nak air tu nak, air ni nak, air ni nak, ni nak. Beli balik. Buka puasa minum air je, dah menyandar dah. Tak boleh makan dah. Kan? Habis kat situ je. Lain-lain makanan tu buang. So that become a waste lah. So that's why behavior ni, sometimes we need to control. So, supaya activator tu tak influence behavior that become kita ni, at the end of the day kita become buat jadi waste dan sebagainya. So those kind of behavior. Simple as that lah ABC ni. You can use in daily life lah. You boleh relate. Kan? Saya bagi telefon mudah-mudah, simple mudah-mudah, sample mudah-mudah pasal telefon lah. So you can see that. Okay. Next. Kita sampai 4:30, Dok.
Kita give about 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A session. Before that, boleh, Doktor?
Okay, boleh.
Right? Okay.
Alright, saya nak bila ni. Then satu lagi saya nak highlight here lah. In organisation and so on, normally there is a safety performance yang mana you drive. Safety performance is drive the organisation behavior lah. So dia ada dua kat situ. Satu lagging. Lagging ni biasanya benda berlaku reaktif lah. Benda berlaku dia di capture asset. Contohlah kalau dalam Malaysia ni mudah-mudah lah. Jalan tu kita tengok dah banyak macam lah. Bila ada berlaku kemalangan je down, accident orang mati je, pasang traffic light. That reactive kan. Jadi macam ni banyaklah dalam industri sekarang masih pakai banyak lagging indicator untuk kita drive the performance. Saya nak promote kat kita ni as a new engineer, when you go out, promote leading. Leading ni something that you do, proactively do to prevent that. Contoh kat sini banyak benda lah. Kalau safety observation, buat audit, buat inspection, buat meeting, you buat. You do it, okay? Rather than you just wait for the incident to happen. You do it. So bila you buat, what you will do? You are active, you are proactive to prevent that from happen. Contohlah, you pergi buat audit, kan? You pergi buat inspection. You pergi ke site, tengok, okay, tengok dia ni, tengok tu, tengok ni, make sure that you nampak benda tak betul, you tegur. So already help you to prevent that from happen. So that's how it helps you lah, kan? So leading indicator should be the future safety performance punya driver, where you drive your behavior, right behavior. Okay. Next. Ini just elaborate lah. Kalau you pernah tengok this pyramid, normally yang pyramid tu ke atas tu berkaitan dengan fatality, bawah tu berkaitan near miss. Near miss ni benda yang berlaku tapi tak ada berapa. Contohnya, tiba-tiba you berjalan, tiba-tiba ada benda jatuh. Pam. Oh, nasib baik tak kena aku. That's near miss. Okay, benda tu tak jadi. Kalau dah jatuh tu kena tak kepala, tu bukan near miss lah tu. Itu dah berlaku kejadian. Okay. So yang bawah-bawah tu adalah aktiviti dan sebelah kiri tu adalah aktiviti yang orang kata leading indicator lah. Saya tak explain lah. I think this is later on you can use this slide. Next. Okay, what is your contribution? Kita as a human, how contribute meeting our own needs? Remember the sustainability definition? Without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Apa yang kita buat hari ni, make sure that kita fikir pasal mereka di kemudian hari lah. So that, contohlah, kalau kita pergi kat kedai kantin makan tu, kadang-kadang kita nampak, wah makanan ni banyak kan. Pergi tu, kita ambil je masuk makan. Kita tak ingat dah orang belakang. Banyak berlaku. Itu dari segi makanan dah. Tapi this is how you have to think about, okay, aku ambil ni cukuplah untuk aku makan. So that aku boleh preserve untuk orang lain juga makan. So that kind of environment. Alright, next. Next, Doctor. Sorry. Okay, I think you have been briefed lah. What is your career path? Saya jumpa dalam bila saya buat some literature review on exhibit. Maybe as a civil engineer, you can become macam-macam waste, water and waste, road, transport, consulting. Kalau you tengok on the left hand side of the slide kan, construction, contractor dan sebagainya. Dan the other part macam environment technology, agri technology, banyak. I think it's not about building the road, building the building saja. I mean, you can be anywhere. Sebab saya ada few friend graduate as a civil engineer. Sekarang dia ada consultant firm sendiri. Dia punya kerja design a bridge sahaja. And some of us pergi ke offshore, become a construction engineer, yang mana dia build the structure, yang mana put on the seabed and letak platform atas tu. So his role is to make sure that they design the construction, they design the structure to support the platform accordingly lah. So that's part of their role lah. Bila dia buat benda tu, is normally kita panggil structure engineer lah. Basically structure engineer doesn't matter lah, dia come from civil ataupun from the mechanical. Both are relevant lah. Okay, next. Okay, now I'm talking again about these three diagram. Okay, kalau kita tengok tadi, remember C, social, economy and environment. Tengok kat situ in detail yang mana saya blockkan dia tu, yang I feel that it is related to a C lah. Okay, civil engineer semua. Yang lain tu related juga, cuma I think more toward this for today talks. Climate, environment. Climate ni cuaca lah. Temperature dan sebagainya, water, natural resources and biodiversity. And yang saya fokus hari ni mainly about health and safety, which is I explained earlier lah. Kalau you tengok the small diagram sebelah kanan tu, there is economy, society. Kat situ they mention about economy ni is talking about the profit, okay, profit and loss. So society is about the people, environment about the planet lah, which is these three have to be orang kata balance. Kalau you tengok dalam diagram on the left hand side, between economy and environment, dia ada sustainable economy. Okay, itu ada subjek lain lah, saya tak explain kat sini. Kalau antara ekonomi dengan society, is a society equality, itu pun subjek lain. Then environment and society, healthy environment. Contoh ni lah, I mean, you have a breathing a good air dan sebagainya. So, and all of this subset in the middle tu is a sustainable development. So you need to have that three elements supaya you balance it out. Nak balance is not easy. I mean, when you talk senang lah, nampak balance kan. Tapi in the real life, saya akan bagi example how one of the project that they have this element, tapi quite complicated, but then we can start to use that as a sample lah. Next. Ini one of the literature that I read, where you can see, saya nak tunjuk tak boleh. Kalau sustainability tu dalam big box sebelah kanan bottom, nampak ada tiga benda dah, society, environment and economy there. Okay. So yang lain-lain tu berkaitan dengan occupational safety, environment, sustainable development. So yang saya fokus more is on the, kalau you tengok in the left hand side middle box tu ada workforce safety, ada arrow tunjuk kat situ. So that's where the relationship between safety and sustainability. Okay, yang lain-lain tu kalau you tengok flow tu boleh faham lah. Working condition that influence behavior, then the family health. And those are the things. Okay, I stop kat situ, tak nak explain panjang-panjang, nanti pening. So move on to next one. Okay, this one also just to try to big picture, where UN punya dah set up ada 17 element of that. Yang dalam box merah-merah tu semua ada related dengan civil engineer lah. Yang mana saya akan explain di next slide. Next slide, Doktor. Okay, the next slide ni I explain a little bit. Okay, so ada 9 item yang mana mention dalam sustainable development tadi. Total 17, ada 9 related dengan green building and sustainable development goal. This one I got it from World Green Building Council. So dia come up with this. Number 3 is about good health and well-being. Mana you build a green building that can improve people health and well-being. affordable and clean energy. Green building can use renewable energy that become cheaper to run. Decent work and economic growth. Building a green infrastructure create job and boost the economy. Lagi, green building that design spur the innovation, contribute to the climate resilient and infrastructure. So in bawah tu is about industrial innovation lah. Sustainable city and community is about green building juga. Responsible consumption and production is about green building, use a circular, this is more on recycle lah, recycle product dan sebagainya. Green building lega, climate action, so fewer emission, emission CO2 dan sebagainya. Next one, 15, life and on land. Green building that can improve biodiversity, save water, is about ecology and help to protect the forest. Next one is a partnership for the goal. Through the building of green, we create a strong global partnership. That's one of the. So this is high level lah. So kita kalau boleh be involved of that, try to take some of the element become a part of our activity, then okay. Next, Doctor. Okay, this is example yang saya cakap tadi. Okay, example of how hydropower project, sustainable assessment for the project. Saya baca tadi, banyaklah elemen. Saya tak nak explain satu-satu, just to highlight to you. In order to you to nak develop satu project, dia look into all these element. Kalau kita kira ni, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ni, lebih daripada 12 lah elemen yang dia look into that. So that they can dia macam EIA lah. EIA saya tak ingat berapa elemen. Okay, kalau EIA tu ada some element which is related to environment, yang ni banyak lagi. Di Malaysia pun kalau nak buat hydropower atau hydro station ataupun apa-apa yang mana more than 20 million, if I'm not mistaken lah, mungkin dah tambah ringgit. So they must have this in place. Economy, social. Tapi at the end of the day dia akan tengok 3 benda tu lah. Apa ni? Social, economy dan environment. Okay. So this become a tool to help whoever build that facility to have a sustainable product, sustainable development activity. Yang macam ni contoh hydropower lah. Okay. Move on. Next one. Okay, last kali ada 2 slide lagi. Bear with me. So way forward lah for all. As an engineer, as a human being, whatever it is you do in a project and so on, you have to set clear sustainability goal. Apa you nak? Remember that what you do, you want to have a better future lah. So that the future generation tu tak contaminated dengan apa yang you buat. Okay, tak di adverse health effect to your what activity you have created. Okay, create a tool. Saya cadangkan dah ni pihak universiti, maybe a student, PhD student that can have this project try to come up with a tool that develop in Malaysia to help project fit for purpose sustainable development tools, so that we can propose to the industry, when you do this project, these are the things that you need to do. Sekarang ni masalahnya, maybe correct me lah, salah saya beritahu. EIA, nak buat satu EIA sangat mahal, kan? So it's good. I think government put that policy for me is good, because you give some barrier kepada developer to have this restriction. Tak adalah dia tu pergi tu terus sodok tanah buat building and so on kan. You have to have this in place. This policy is good. Cuma make it more affordable, make it more practical, make it more suitable. Maybe apps can help just to make sure that they produce a good result. So this result can be used to the authority for the approval. Something that we can help the industry, something that we can help future. Okay. The next one is about promoting proactivity in the prevent accident. I think that one, contoh tadi lah, you have a leading indicator, behavior is right, so that we create a system based. I mentioned here CFC system based, yang mana that influence desired behavior. Saya kalau apa ni, kita ni as a human, we people go left And kita ni kita in organisation tak kerja tak lama, kita akan berhenti dan keluar, but system is remain there. So that's why we need to have a right system so that whoever coming in the organisation tu, dia dia boleh continue the process. Sebab at this moment bila orang baru datang, the new policy change, so buat cara lain balik kan. So that's a problem about the system now lah. Okay, silap typing. Think for the better future sebenarnya. Think for the better future. Inherent design that resulted in sustainable product and design. Improve current approach and processes from reactive to proactive. Continuous education, as I mentioned earlier, and financial support lah, of course. Whatever you do, you have to have a financial support so that we can have a better. Kat situ mention about something that dan janganlah engkau melakukan kerosakan di muka bumi ini. Sesungguhnya Allah tidak akan suka kepada orang-orang yang berbuat kerosakan. So our responsible juga tu. Okay. Next. This is the last one lah. The challenge for us, for you, for the future is I think people change, but the system don't. Because I mentioned just now, just stay. So to have clear and firm policy until 2050 or and future. Kalau umur panjang kita boleh tengok lah. Tapi I think kita pun basically 70-80 je sekarang ni. Okay. Build sustainable policy and framework for future development, and of course try to get a cost effective approach. At the end of the day, kalau cost mahal, buang ke tepi jugalah kan. So that's how we need that. I think with that, last slide. Last slide, Doctor. Thank you. Okay, dah mention tadi lah. Dan sesiapa yang menjaga keselamatan hidup seorang manusia, maka seolah-olahnya dia telah menjaga keselamatan hidup manusia semuanya. Just remember that you help protect people. So it's a similar that you help others. With that, I think thank you very much. Last slide. Doctor, with that, thank you very much to all. If you have any question, we have about another 15 minutes kan before the ending that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Taram. A very fruitful sharing session. Okay, maybe saya boleh bacakan beberapa soalan yang kita ada dekat chat box ni.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Assalamualaikum Dr. Taram, daripada Dr. Nur Haslina. At this moment, most of the industry is compulsory to fulfill the requirement of Environmental Quality Act to make them link with the environment. From your opinion and experience, number one, does the sustainability concept implementation in industry is very depending on the top management principles or the requirement of other parties? For example, some country dealing with them want industries to comply certain green agreement. And then the other one is there any written benefit that may be from the government if the companies or industries having their own principles or contribution to make sustainability real? Okay.
Okay, very good question. Panjang kan ni. Anyway, saya dapat tangkap dua. Correct me if I'm wrong lah. It's a compulsory to have a environment impact lah. I think that's compulsory lah for the project. I think if I mentioned just now, more than 20 million and above, you have to do EIA. But EIA pun ada kelemahan because dia dah lama. Sekarang dia dah ubah sikit lah. And you have a competent person to do that, to make sure that the EIA is assessed by a competent person, bukan sebarang orang lah nak buat EIA tu. And then of course, before you approve, you have to go to site, verify betul-betul. I think the process is quite rigor now compared to previous one. Dulu just hantar, submit, approve, jalan. Sekarang have to have a site verification dan sebagainya lah. And macam saya kami di oil and gas, which is dealing with upstream, dia tak boleh nak pergi ke site banyak sangat. So during jawatan kuasa ekonomi eksklusif zone, we presented our case to that society, the committee. So dia akan tengok basically EIA is one of the thing lah. Adakah kita impact the coral reef dan sebagainya, and the environment. Adakah kita akan buat kerosakan di kawasan tu, kalau ada oil spill macam mana kita nak tackle. That is part of the requirement, which is I think in my view is good. It's already there. Cuma maybe certain thing kita kena improve lah. So in line with the new approach of sustainability. Kan, sebab sustainability ni as I mentioned just now, ada 3 benda kan, ekonomi, environment and also societal. So dalam EIA ni some of the elements itu kurang lah, tak ada. So we need to include that in part of the new approach in the future. Satu lagi yang I nampak kat sini, ada 2 soalan yang ni, top management principle. Okay. From oil and gas principle, there is a pledge by oil and gas, especially to reduce GHG, greenhouse gas. Yes, greenhouse gas to the environment. So by 2050, flaring tak ada, venting kurang, use of diesel akan di-improve. So benda-benda yang tu is already in place. So that's where it's from the top management lah. I think baru ni, because kat Malaysia ni, whatever operate under Malaysia soil or water is under Petronas purview lah. Okay, the authority is Petronas. So baru ni Petronas pergi ke to pledge their commitment to climate change, to make sure that we are in line with the process. For us, as a small company, we have a 2030 plan on sustainability. There's some project that we're going to embarking, start to use some sort of sekarang kita dah ada one of the facility, kita dah pasang wind turbine to produce electricity, small scale, and of course solar tu memang dah ada lah. Okay, so this idea will be replicate, and some of the process macam kami di Vestigo, kita using this technology, which is the first one in Malaysia lah, kita panggil condensate recovery system. Condensate recovery system ni normally dia akan recover the high end of the flaring flow, so they can condensate dan jadikan minyak balik. So daripada situ they can reduce CO2 emission about 19%. So that's one of the activity that kita try to bring down that exposure. Yes, there is commitment from the top level into the green. That's real, that's happening, and that's orang kata aggressively lah being carried out in oil and gas industry, because we have commitment. Macam kami commitment sampai 2030, and of course continue sampai 2050 lah, 2050. So kita ada mid-term and long-term. So that's where it is. By the time saya pun dah tak ada dah. That's why saya cadangkan we should have a right system in place. Doesn't matter who coming in, so they can continue to use that system. Problem kita di organisation, when the people come, the leadership change, mindset dia punya concept is different, dia akan cuba ubah proses. So kita back to the original. So that's a concern. The other one is saya tak ingat ini. Benefit pasal apa tadi? Sorry, doktor.
Is there any written benefit, maybe from the government, if the companies or industries having their own principles or contribution to make sustainability real?
Yes. There is. Cuma saya tak boleh explain kat sini apa benefit tu. Dari segi tax, dari segi apa ni? You being assumption, especially from tax lah, because you apa ni? That's why masa kita design the project, there is a carbon tax dipanggil. So kalau you design facility that is producing banyak carbon, maksudnya release a lot of ni, so you akan di penalty banyak. Okay, so by doing that, so mestilah you have to design something yang lebih less discharge of that kan. So that's one benefit of that policy lah. Of course, in term of monetary or economics, saya tak ingat. There is one mention about reducing tax, reducing when you have that. Of course, kamu bagi grant untuk certain study. Itu saja. Yang lain saya tak banyak maklumat on that. Thank you for the question. Very good question.
Okay, actually saya kind of agree lah dengan Dr. Taram, yang mana kalau if let's say katakan bila kita make a policy, a good policy or something, bila ada someone take over, patutnya kena teruskan. Bukanlah you sibuk nak rombak balik yang baru, nak tunjuk balik detail. Because normally this is what this is what is happening in Malaysia and also all over lah kan. So
Correct,
mungkin ni ada political issue sikit lah dekat situ kan.
Yes, because as human, I'm coming into the organization. I want to show to the world, to the organization, to the Malaysia that I'm doing something different. You know,
Yeah.
that mindset.
Yes. Itu yang jadi cacah marwah.
Correct.
Alright, okay. Another question is from Dr. Muhammad Sohaili Datuk Sulong. Alright. Assalamualaikum Dr. Taram. According to the edge markets, climate change could reduce Malaysia's economic growth by 20% below expectations by 2050. From your point of view, how can the EQA 127 Act address this situation?
Oh, wow. Saya minta maaf doktor, saya tak sampai ke tahap tu lah. Tapi saya nak jawab tu, I don't have the figure and statement mengata how going to be approach to reducing 20% of economic for Malaysia. And I totally agree with you lah. I mean, by logic pun as I mentioned Tana, I mean just now, in term of oil reserve kita pun lama-lama akan depleting, kan? Kalau ekonomi kita depending on that, and you will go down, kan? Ekonomi kita akan go down kalau kita too dependent. That's why we have to find alternative so that we can sustain our economy. And I don't agree. I mean, I totally agree with you. This 20% drop in terms of economic value, GDP doesn't matter. Which is, kalau you tahu pun, at this moment pun Malaysia banyak depending on, currently kita depending on oil and gas lah, kan? So we become part of our economy punya strength, kan? And that's why Petronas as a host authority in Malaysia try to look into something that can replace that. That's why we are in, as a small company, we are try to tap into the small field, small matured and small field yang mana ada available di Malaysia. Kami ni specialize in small and marginal field. Kalau yang lain-lain tu, contoh macam Shell, Exxon dan sebagainya, they are giant, super major. So bila dia tengok reservoir tu, dia tengok reservoir yang boleh tahan sampai 15 tahun, 20 tahun, 30 tahun ke atas. So yang kecil-kecil ni 5-6 tahun, 10 tahun ke bawah ni tak nak. Kan? So that's where we are in Malaysia. Kita ada company Vestigo ni is a small and marginal field specialist. Try to develop, try to tap all this field yang mana ada 100 lebih field ni untuk kita maximize and utilize and become additional fit to the oil and gas for Malaysia. Alhamdulillah lah, we managed to do that with the small capital. Kita ni macam Asia lah. So I'll look into something yang lebih murah, lebih cepat, so that kita can bring out the oil that can be supplied to the nation punya needs. And so itulah one of the way try to top up yang mana potential loss ni, okay, supaya kita boleh bring out that. Tapi you know, at the end of the day, yang ni akan turun juga. Yeah, at the end of the day. So we have to look into something yang mana yang lebih sustainable lah, which is how to produce. Sekarang ni pun I think kita start to embark macam North Sea. Kalau you pergi North Sea, you can see already the wind fan tu anywhere in the world yang dah start producing that, because they know the depletion is there, kan? So that's what I can answer the doctor. I try to be fact and figure based on ni. Saya tak ada.
Alright, okay. Thank you, Doctor. Okay, another one more from Encik Syafiee, SWM Environment. Okay, Assalamualaikum. How to control chemical hazard? What engineering method used to control it?
Oh, ini senang kan? You have to depend on what kind of hazard lah, kan? You cannot say, you cannot pukul rata lah, to be frank. You kata, chemical, contoh lah mudah-mudah, hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid punya teknologi can be used for hydrofluoric acid. Cannot. You cannot. You have to depend on the kind of hazard. So that's where the compatibility of the chemical is important. Okay. Contohnya compatibility. Kalau you tengok dalam chemical punya industry, dia ada reactive chemical, dia ada acid, dia ada base, kan. So you nak store dia pun, you tak boleh store dekat-dekat. You kena ada gap and so on because compatibility. Contohlah dalam industri oil and gas, saya cakap mudah-mudah. So bila kita produce gas, gas naik through pipeline. Kalau you design pipeline yang mana tak tahan dengan CO2, katakanlah CO2 banyak lah, kan, it become acid. And lama-lama pipeline tu akan corroded and bocor. So that's why you need to understand the behavior of the reservoir tu, ada apa dalam tu. Ada H2S ke, ada CO2 banyak ke, ada mercury banyak ke. So that's design of the facility have to fulfill that. Dia tak boleh pukul rata. Maksudnya you ambil ni and you replicate je, tak boleh. Then it become a problem later on. To answer your question tadi, chemical technology is depend on the hazard of itself. So then you can address properly lah. Kalau you are depend on the kalau air tak apalah, you boleh guna mana-mana kan. Tapi kalau depend on chemical type, it depend. You kalau chemical to acid, you have to look something yang resistant to acid. Kalau benda tu resistant to base, you have to find something resistant to base. Simple as that. Okay.
See. All right. Okay. We have another question from Dr. Nora. Okay. Usually, how many % of administration or operational cost will go for health and safety and or environment in your industry, including for audit and assessment purposes per year? Thank you. She said.
Ini soalan okay. Saya cerita on the basis of this lah. Kalau in my company kami kecil je lah, tak sampai 1 bilion pun dari segi the whole operating cost. So katakanlah our budget for the whole year is about sorry, I try to recall, it's about 600 million, okay, for the whole year.
Okay.
So normally HSC contribution kat situ dalam 7 atau 8 juta saja. So you kira lah berapa persen. And so very small. Cuma tapi sebab ini saya cakap pasal HSC, bukan pasal developing of technology. Contoh tadi kan, technology of reducing of flaring. That's become under CAPEX, which is totally different lah. Yang tu maybe sampai 100 million or 200 million try to that. So it depend. Tapi kalau you cakap pasal is talking about the department administrative sahaja, about that lah. Saya kata busuk-busuk pun dalam kalau company besar-besar macam kami kecil kan, 10 hingga 15 juta kind of allocation for HSC lah.
I see. Alright, okay. Alright, okay, Doctor. Last question, but from me. Okay, saya tertarik dengan tadi when you start your session tadi. Okay, you bring us towards depression, that bukan burnout, that everybody started to face burnout, and this new norm ni, memang I think that bukan employees ataupun employers je yang having these problems. I mean even students, university ke, primary ke, secondary ke kan, everybody. Okay, maybe due to our new lifestyle kot. Okay, so I think we can say that this new norm thingy, macam kita ada online platform and everything, is good. In a way, it's good because it can actually spread to everywhere, and then kita will have conferences ke apa from just the tip of our fingers. Tapi ada juga yang tak bagus lah, because it's like you're working 24/7, you know, around it, if you don't know how to manage our time. Okay. So saya just nak tengok macam mana pula dari sudut safety, industrial safety, because some people ada yang actually kan to admit that you are burnt out or to admit that you are maybe having some sort of depression because of your burning out is something that is not everybody can do it. Okay, jadi in this safety industry, kalau kita tahu, because your punya health, mental is very important. Okay, so macam mana, how do this industry tackle this problem? Macam mana diorang tengok this aspect? Memang diorang ada hantar the staff pergi buat any check up ke ataupun macam so how do you come up with this? Because I'm sure this isn't going to be a new problem to you all, right? This is like the challenge that you're facing, kan?
Yes. Apa ni? Okay. Saya ada just nak highlight. I think one of the thing is that's why I kata tadi. Burnout ada simptom-simptom dia lah kan. So I list out some of the symptom lah. Contoh macam tadi, you feel bored cepat, you sleepy, you fatigue. If you are the supervisor, ini tugas supervisor lah. Kalau saya ada anak buah, this is tugas as a supervisor. You should be the one who can detect that. And that's one way lah. Satu cara nak macam mana, because kita dah lah online, bukan jumpa hari-hari kan. So one of the way is I do a lot with my team lah. conversation virtually. Tanya status, tanya apa khabar. I think start with apa khabar semua, sihat ke, hari ni ada masalah isu ke, ada benda-benda. I think start with that. In my view, when you can see, because my subordinate, masa kita, I just mentioned dulu lah, I mean, I just share my experience, personal experience. My subordinate pernah sekali message myself, Cik Taram, saya banyak masalah dah sekarang ni. Ni tak sempat nak buat, ni sempat banyak-banyak. Dia try to explain that dia dah dalam stage yang mana dia dah panic stage. Yang mana you can detect them. So I cakap kat dia simple je, okay? You stop what you do now, go out, divert your focus on on your activity related to work. Contoh, what you do, what you like to do is it? Oh, I think I like to go out shopping and so on. Go do that. Macam saya, masa saya burnout ni, masa saya activity, I cakap, my example is, I do a lot of cooking masa ni. Saya buat carpentry. Saya berkebun. Saya berjogging. Saya naik basikal. Something that divert focus on the activity. Tapi, back to your question just now, the one that who can trigger and notify that is the supervisor. So supervisor kena main peranan penting dalam hal ni. Sebab he's the one who communicate daily. Kalau you ada anak buah, talk to them. Make a schedule, weekly ke apa ke, just tanya khabar. Jangan sebut pasal kerja. Just simple activity. 10 minit, 20 minit cukup lah. Just to make that. So sometimes dia nak kita trigger je, kan? Dia nak kita trigger yang mengatakan, maksudnya prompt dia. Ada masalah ke? Tu yang cerita terus. Kan? Kalau kita tak tanya, dia tak jawab. Nampak macam tak sihat je, dia bercerita. That's how kita communicate lah. I mean, tak kira lah, I mean, dengan anak you ke, dengan student ke. Saya dengan anak saya pun student juga. So bila saya tengok hari-hari muka berkerut je, dan sembang je, lama-lama dia bercerita lah. Dia kata dia segan, dia nak cerita dan sebagainya. So that's where it start. Back to that lah, is about communication lah, bercakap. Kita kena bercakap, kita kena ni. From there, you know the problem, then you tackle the problem. Kalau dia terlalu fokus kepada kerja atau terlalu fokus kepada assignment, stop sekejap benda-benda macam tu. Divert dia kepada something yang mana lebih yang dia suka. Contoh anak saya, dia suka melukis. Dia suka ni. Okay, kata stop. Melukis. Do something yang you suka. Buatlah apa-apa. Kan? Kalau you suka main gadget ke, kurangkan gadget sekejap. Mungkin gadget juga boleh buat stress. Do something else. Yang mana physical, tengok pokok ke, tengok hijau ke, tak kisahlah. Just do something. So that's what we advise to our employee jugalah, to our staff and so on. And alhamdulillah lah, I mean, and of course, kita prepare juga. Make sure that pihak university should have some sort of a counselor. When you have problem, refer him or her to the counselor to talk. I think counselor know how to do lah, kan. Kita ni bukan professional counselor, boleh cakap gitu lah. As a father, as a supervisor, as a parent. So itu je lah. But then counselor dia ada way of doing that. So if you detect the case, then you start to nampak simptom-simptom dia tu. In my view, talk to them. Start dengan bercakap dulu, simple thing. Saya rasa itu je kot, doktor. I mean, I'm pun bukan expert pasal ni. Cuma in safety perspective, it's about prevention, it's about control. What you can control, you control. Okay? At the end of the day, insyaAllah, itu Allah punya kuasa semua.
Okay, terima kasih banyak Taram. So looks like kita cuma terlebih 5 minit sedikit sahaja, and I think it looks like we have come to the end of our session. A very fruitful session. Okay, hopefully nanti lain kali Dr. Taram boleh luangkan masa lah untuk bersama dengan kita lagi. Alright, so before I really end the session, saya nak minta kerjasama semua untuk switch on your camera so that kita boleh ada sedikit sesi bergambar, bersama dengan speakers. Siapa yang boleh? Ida, boleh tolong ni ke, Dr. Ida?
Okay, boleh.
Alright, okay. So boleh tak onkan semua kamera so that we can just have a virtual Ambil gambar. The new in trend sekarang. The new trend.
Kucu ambil gambar